again with your Pineda, and today I'm going to tell you how to properly install computer parts and what are the different parts of your computer.
But first, what is a computer? A computer is an electronic device that processing data, typically in binary form, according to instruction given to it in a variable program. And now, let's proceed to the parts of the computer. First is the motherboard. The motherboard is the core of the system. It really is the PC. Everything else is connected to it, and it controls everything in the system. Next is the processor. The processor is often thought of as the engine of the computer. It's also called the CPU or Central Processing Unit. Next is memory or RAM. The system memory is often called RAM for random access memory. This is the primary memory which holds all the programs and data the processor is using at the given time. Next one is case or chassis. The case is the frame or chassis that houses the motherboard, power supply, disk drives, adapter cards, and any other physical components in the system. Next is power supply. The power supply is what feeds electrical power to every single part in the PC. Next is floppy drive. The floppy drive is a simple, inexpensive, low-capacity, removable media magnetic storage device. The next is hard disk drive. The hard disk is the primary archival storage memory for the system. Next is CD-ROM and DVD-ROM. CD-ROM or compact disc read-only and DVD-ROM or digital versatile disc read-only drives are relatively high capacity, removable media and optical drives. Next is the keyboard. The keyboard is the primary device on a PC that is used by a human to communicate with and control a system. The next one is mouse. Although many types of pointing device are on the market today, the first and most popular device for this purpose is the mouse. Next is video card. The video cards controls the information you see on the monitor. The next is sound card. It enables the PC to generate complex sounds. Next is modem. Most pre-built PCs ship with a modem, generally an internal modem. Next is monitor. A computer monitor is an output device that displays information in pictorial form. And then this is the 13 easy steps to install computer parts. After removing the case from the box, the panels are removed from this case with thumb screws. Your specific model's manual will have more information if you are unsure for your case. In my assembly process, as I was just transferring the part from the case to another, leaving the CPU cooler installed was the easiest option. Depending on the motherboard, case, CPU, and CPU fan, this might need to be done before installing or one in place. Being that this computer includes high-performance components, some of them are large enough that clearance can become an issue. For this reason, once the board was installed, fitted the graphics card so there would not be more surprises later in the process. Once the graphics card was removed again, it's time to attach the connection for the buttons, lights, USB ports, and audio connections. As every case and motherboard differ slightly, it is better to refer to the manual for the placement and orientation of connections. Some of these connections are made to only work in one direction, so be careful when using force. It might be an incorrect orientation. The power supply from the previous case was modular, so only the cables that are needed are plugged into the unit. As well, this makes cable management cleaner in the end. Normally, the supply is screwed into the back panel by 4 screws, though some cases include a clamp to hold it down that way. With the motherboard power being the largest cable, and sometimes just long enough, I suggest running this cable first and plugging it into the board. If there is a second cable for the CPU, remember to connect it as well. The optical drive for this computer is a DVD CD read-write combo. Some people prefer to only connect an optical drive when installing items, but one being in place at all times come in handy. When something comes up and you do not want to open the case and connect the drive. The size and number of hard drives your computer contains is completely dependent on your style of use and storage needs. This computer uses drives 2 in RAID and the rest for a main drive and miscellaneous storage. It is time to connect the cables for the hard drives and optical drives. The cables are keyed so they will only fit in one direction. Into the board, don't forget the cable that is attached to the optical drive. This computer does not use the identical cable, but if you are connecting an older optical or hard drive, they might require it. It is time for the RAM to be inserted. If your computer uses more than one stick like mine, refer to the manual for which slot to install the stick. If only one stick is going to be inserted, place it in the slot closest to the CPU. The manual for the card should tell you how many cables are needed. In my case, it is a 6 pin and an 8 pin. After that is in place and secured with screws in the place. A time or two less is not enough. That network card and audio card for the computer are connected into the slots below the graphics card. With all components in place, it is time to make your hard work look like a work of art. Hiding cables and organizing them will help in the future if you are looking for high airflow through the case or to light it up. With the job complete, it is time to fire it up and enjoy your creation. From here, you can add your operating system and software as you see fit.